draft national decree that is currently with the Excellency the Governor, pending approval. Once approved by the Governor, these regulations will have clarity, will have clearly defined the regulations for the lottery license holders, booth and point of sales, and this will also ensure fees are paid monthly and by extension assist with compliance of taxes. Once the decision process is completed, all required information will be made available via publications, and the lottery license holders will be granted the time to prepare for the new rules for their licenses. During my next meeting with His Excellency the Governor, I will confirm when when I can receive a decision on the decree, but the aim is to have it returned to the ministry to do the necessary with the stakeholders, to make sure that the stakeholders are aware of it and within the government before the end of year, once we receive the approved decree. Next, MP York asked, what is the advice making its rounds regarding the CapEx for the AC for LB Scott Road Sports Auditorium? When will we be able to get an answer? For reasons that remains unclear, MP, through you, Madam Chair Lady, this advice has been awaiting release on a civil servant's desk within the Ministry of ECYS department for quite some time now. However, I can assure you that the ECYS cabinet has been consistently following up to expedite the release of this. It's stuck on somewhere in that department, but they are regularly asking for it to be released. MP Artwell Arian had no questions. MP Omar Adley had no questions. Next, I have MP Brugge. There was an inventory done on the lottery booths and companies, and the conversation also took place to have these companies pay for each of their booths. If it only took for an LB to take in effect, did something go wrong? What is the status on this? As mentioned in my previous response to MP York, the national decree is currently at His Excellency the Governor, but to add some context as to why it's taken so long for said decree to be sent to the Governor, we had to await the appointment of the board of the members of SAR for review, and once that was completed, the advice had to make its round within the organization to then be sent to the Governor for final decision making. And coupled with the fact that we had 2 elections that caused some delays in the process. Next, I move on to questions from MP La Cruz. MP La Cruz is disappointed in the fact that all the information in the Ministry of TIAT, the lottery, regarding the lottery booths, and that the minister is being set up for not being provided with the proper information so she can bring it to the floor of Parliament. A lottery license automatically came with the possibility of placing booths or vending machines, and when these locations are where kids have access, and that should not take place. And there is a moratorium on locations and companies that have requests for a new location at the Department of Permits. We are losing money on the lottery games being sold on the island that are illegal, and the problem is not at the lottery booth, but that the locals have become addicted to gambling because of the easy availability of the lottery booths and casino. So the MP is saying to find a way to tax the winnings and use it for rehabilitation on the island, tax alcohol, tobacco, and allocate these funds for specific purpose: cancer center, tax sugar, diabetes center, tax prostitution, use it for single mothers, charging for personalized, also suggestion that we charge for personalized number plates. So as I previously, through you, Madam Chair, elucidated in the Central Committee meeting, the legal basis for the lottery booths can be found in Article 3/4, Paragraph 1, on the A of the Landsverordening, in Article 2, Paragraph 1, on the C of the relevant national decree, and lastly in the lottery license itself in Article 26. The concerns and the issues regarding problems and disordered gambling on St. Martin are taken up in the Country Package Master Measure H2 with the establishment of the Gambling Authority and the draft of the new gambling ordinance. In regard to the other forms of possible revenue generations via taxes, do note that we did mention in an interministerial collaboration with Minister of TIAT and Finance to focus on fiscal reform, which is in turn will explore the various possibilities as to what will be a win-win scenario for government. And also, I remember stating earlier that I am also open to coming to Parliament and meeting with members of Parliament in perhaps a TIAT Central Committee meeting to have a discussion, a brainstorm session on how we could increase coffers. Any idea you bring is a win-win for St. Martin, so I'm open for that. And lastly, also mention that we are willing to take up, yes, exactly that. But in a nutshell, I said it correctly. Then I will move on to MP Roseberg, who had no questions. And then lastly, I will move on to MP Duran. MP Duran is asking, how much has the causeway caused the remainder that needs to be paid? So the causeway has driven the fuel class throughput, so from its inception, so how much has the causeway cost the people of St. Martin? So based on the consolidated loan, 35% of which is allocated to the causeway and financed at a 5% interest rate over 20 years. The entire loan is set to be fully repaid by 2033. The outstanding balance currently, as mentioned before in the Central Committee meeting, is 48 million, with an initial loan amount, the total was 51 million.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Well, I still don't feel I received an answer. So just for clarification's sake, through you, Madam Chair, 51 million was paid already, and the additional 30-something million would then equal almost 90 million? Or am I to understand that 51 million is remaining? That is a bit confusing. So I just want to know then, for me to zoom it in from 2014 or the inception of the construction to present. What has been paid out thus far and how much is owed?
In a prior meeting, you expressed your worry or your questions about the legislation for casino licenses. For example, if there's a construction that houses over 200 rooms, that they automatically fall under the requirement to apply for a casino license, etc. A while ago, you referred to moratoriums, and that you will be caucusing with the finance minister over moratoriums for lottery booths. My question is that caucus, is that meeting solely about lottery booths, or would that also include casino licenses, in particular the casino legislation for the 200 plus rooms policy or legislation, one of the two? Thank you.
I would like to ask the minister to clarify, or just to be maybe a little more clear. Even some questions came from the public regarding the legislation that you referred to for the lottery booths. Just to make it very clear for the public, are you saying that legislation is indicating that every booth that we physically see has a legal basis to be there? I just want to be clear on that, because in the past, the lottery owners basically distanced themselves from the individual booth and said that they are independent contractors. And even a couple of years ago, when Minister Stuart Johnson, when he was minister, he also, on a parliamentary trip with the MPs, went to some of these booths and also confirmed that. So I want to be very clear to the public also that you're indicating that when a controller goes to a booth, for example, that the people in that booth say, hey, I fall under X company. So this money that goes from this booth goes to X company, and they're not independent contractors. Because if they're independent contractors, the legislation that you just mentioned does not apply. So I want to be very careful with that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
51 million was it paid already, 30 million? He wanted some clarification on what I mentioned earlier, so no. The total amount is 51 million, and thus far, of the 51 million, 51 million, the principal was paid, and it's right now at 48 million. So the causeway, the total cost of the causeway, which is part of the entire consolidated loan, 35% of that consolidated loan is 51 million. Thus far, they have paid 48 minus 30, 51 minus 48, or 3 million already, but I guess in principle. So it's, what is still owed is 48 million towards that, and that will be finalized in its entirety by 2025. 2035, sorry, for the record. And then MP York question. In a prior meeting, I indicated that my concerns about the permits and the casino license, and if I refer to the moratorium, and indicated that it'll be that I will be caucusing with the Minister of Finance on the lottery booths. Yes, we will be caucusing with the Minister of Finance on all things gaming, which includes the casino license and the lottery booths, indeed. And if any changes need to be made, I would not be able to make it without that ministry. So indeed, that conversation will be had with the Minister of Finance. Then MP Arian's clarification was, am I stating that the legislation I'm referring to indicating that every booth we see have a license? So when a controller goes to the booth, the people that are on the booth are saying that they fall under a certain company. So as mentioned before, during the Central Committee meeting, they are operating on behalf of the lottery license holder, the lottery company for which they're selling the lottery, and do not have their own business licenses from the Ministry of TIAT. And as such, they are not operating as a BV or an NV. I think I mentioned that in the Central Committee meeting. However, with the new decree, and by extension, the new legislation, the lottery license holder is required to ask the ministry for permission to have a booth or point of sales or point of sales or sales point, and they must meet the new requirements of the regulations as it will be stipulated per this decree.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
Member of Parliament, Mrs. MP De Wever. She had a question. She had a few statements first, but at the end it was a question about what happens to the technical team of the TLM as of November the 1st, closing off the period of October the 31st. TLM has stated that following this date, starting the 1st of November, the restructuring of the technical team will proceed according to TLM's transformation strategy, which aligns with the organization's long-term goals of enhanced efficiency and service quality. The phased departure of specific staff members will ensure that service continuity and quality are maintained, minimizing disruption to TLM's operation and customer experience. The next question of Mrs. MP De Wever. Does the MP have to be concerned that there is an ongoing issue with TLM when it comes to the ability to supply internet? TLM has assured us that there is no need for concern regarding TLM's ability to supply reliable internet service. The new ISP core network has been successfully completed, and TLM has already commenced migrating services to his upgraded platform. This advancement ensures that TLM can continue to deliver high-quality internet service without interruption. TLM has retained a sufficiently skilled workforce post-restructuring to meet service demands and uphold its commitment to the community of St. Martin. Specifically, what is happening with the technical team is the question also of MP De Wever. Following the restructuring, TLM's technical team will be equipped with the necessary resources and expertise to handle technical issues efficiently and effectively. The restructured team will be streamlined but capable, ensuring that TLM remains responsive to technical needs and maintains a high standard of service quality. The next question of the MP De Wever is, are they going to remain on? The restructured technical team will consist of 21 FTEs. This team size was strategically determined to provide robust support for TLM's operational and maintenance needs while optimizing efficiency and responsiveness. Are they going to be extended is the next question. The departure of technical staff is being managed through a phased approach aligned with TLM's network transformation timeline. This approach ensures a smooth transition, allowing TLM to maintain operational stability while transitioning to new structure. Are they going to be made redundant? Staff members not placed in new roles and unable to secure alternative positions within TLM have opted for the voluntary leave package. This package was offered as part of TLM's fair and considerate approach to restructuring, which prioritizes the well-being of all employees impacted by these changes. The next question of MP De Wever. What does the future hold for TLM as it stands today? TLM has made significant and strategic investments in its network infrastructure, positioning the company to achieve sustainable growth and enhance service quality. The proactive steps taken in this restructuring and network transformation were essential for securing TLM's competitive edge and long-term viability. As a result, TLM is well prepared to meet the evolving needs of St. Martin's community with a bright and promising future ahead. MP York. Loan proposal of GB, it's a backup plan. He has concerns regarding the good governance and what will happen after the loan is approved. GB has statutory directors, CFO, the CEO and COO, but no complete managing board at this particular moment in place. As it states by the Member of Parliament, for over a year now, GB has been functioning without a fully functioning management board. It's not something of today. It's already a while already that there is not a complete three-party statutory directorship. Unfortunately, this is also one of the challenges that this government has inherited. As shareholders, we have started the process to strengthen the management board. Parliament will be held updated as this process is ongoing. Interim manager mandate from the Supervisory Board of Directors. Supervisory Board of Directors is appointed by government. Temporary manager mentioned he is doing what is being asked from him. Can the Prime Minister further elaborate on the decision-making within GB? The decision-making process is regulated in the Articles of Incorporation of GEBE and of course also in the contract signed between the Supervisory Board of Directors and the temporary manager. The shareholder will hold the Supervisory Board of Directors accountable, and the Supervisory Board of Directors should hold the management accountable. That is how the structure works. The MP had also a statement and question concerning not the inloopschaal, but the aanloopschaal. MP wants an overview per ministry of how many civil servants are currently functioning in aanloopschaal and for how many years already are they in this aanloopschaal, and what is the exact function of the aanloopschaal. How long is it stipulated that someone can find themselves in a aanloopschaal? The run-up scale, named the aanloopschaal, regulates the possibility to appoint someone conditionally in a position for which he or she does not yet qualify. The goal is to reach the required level. The human resources management purpose of the run-up scale, aanloopschaal, is to create a possibility to hire persons who you otherwise would not hire for the position and give them the opportunity to grow in the position. An employee can remain in a run-up scale, aanloopschaal, for a maximum of 2 years, depending on their performance. The Ministry of General Affairs has, at this particular moment, 6 employees that are in a run-up scale or aanloopschaal, 3 as of 2023 and 3 as of 2024. Question 4 of MP York. BDO report where candidates were tested and scored was published a couple of months ago. Why hasn't anyone been chosen as yet? When is this going to be resolved? Is this going to be resolved before the funds, or is the deal negotiated with GB already? As a government, we are basically virtually negotiating with ourselves. Is it wise to make such negotiations under the current state of affairs that the current managing board is now functioning under? The answer is the shareholder representative received the draft report from BDO by letter of July the 31st, 2024, while this was going on already since 2023. It was briefly discussed, but the focus at that time was on getting GB on track for them to be able to provide the necessary service to the community of St. Martin. That is what had our focus first, especially in this threatening energy crisis.